Hi, everyone. Welcome today. Happy Tuesday. And I know we're at a different time, but I'm so happy to be sharing this time with you. I'm super excited. I am Michelle G., your host, your relationship and dating guru, where we talk about relationships, dating, sex, and what affects us every day, especially as a modern woman and a modern man in today's world. I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about quitting the dating games. And I have a special guest that is going to just be able to talk to us a little bit about her expertise. She's also a dating expert, and what she sees in the lives of busy professionals has been the commonality as far as trends that happen and why those trends happen. So we're going to go ahead and demystify, debunk all that stuff, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Miss Solomon. Are you there, Miss Solomon?
I'm here. Hi.
Hi. Where are you coming from?
I am here from sunny Pittsburgh today. It's really bright. It's really nice. And I'm here from Pittsburgh.
All right. Well, shouts out to all of our people in Pittsburgh who may be watching. Shout out from sunny San Diego. So, Miss Solomon, tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about how you got started. I'd love to know, and for the viewers who are watching, to get to know a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Miss Solomon. I'm the founder of The Dating Truth, which is an advice site for young single professionals. And I got started because I was writing a blog a while ago, years ago, when blogging just became popular. And I noticed that the nightlife and the night scene in Pittsburgh was changing, and people really were having trouble meeting people and connecting. So I started writing about it. And years later, I've just written more, turned it into a business, and I've been coaching and offering workshops ever since.
Wow. So the dating scene, how it kind of like sprung something in you about it.
Yeah, it did, because a lot of my girlfriends at the time, we wanted to meet more guys and maybe settle down, but we just weren't meeting the right people, and we didn't know what was going on or how we could connect with, these young professionals that were moving into the city, and we just kept missing opportunities. So I thought, there has to be some secret here. Like, we have to figure out what to do to make this work.
And you discovered the secret sauce, and you're going to share it with us today.
That's right. I discovered the truth. So I try to write about it and just share what I know with everybody else.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful that you're here with us today, and I want to go ahead and just get right into it. And you talked about something. I remember, me and you share very common philosophies as far as like a happy person, happy single, then you're able to attract the right person or the person that you're looking for. Talk to me a little bit about that, where that philosophy came from.
Well, it really came from my own personal view on life. I study a lot of business, and I love how-to books, and a lot of the advice they were giving was work on yourself, and when you work on yourself, everything will kind of fall in line with your thinking, and dating is no different. When you have a positive attitude or a good outlook about it, then I think everything else falls in line and kind of falls in place for you.
I agree, and it's interesting because a lot of people, when they approach the dating world, like for example, I've had some clients who were divorced and they are re-entering into the dating space, and so they kind of don't take the time to really deal with what happened in their life, and they just jump right into it because as humans we need connection. We don't want to be lonely, but sometimes we don't see that the effects of things that have happened to us really affect us, how we show up in the dating space.
Exactly, exactly. And you have to monitor that baggage. You have to deal with it, unpack it, and prepare yourself for somebody new and for new experiences. If you didn't have a good experience before, it doesn't mean that you won't have one the next time.
Absolutely. So my first question to you is, tell me a little bit about the dating trends that you see in professionals. Like, because professionals, they're working, they're obviously very career and goal oriented, and at some point they make the realization happens where it's like, oh my God, I want to date, and I don't know where to find someone, or I'm too busy to date. So tell me about the dating trends and some of the clients that you've worked with, what experiences you've seen and what you've noticed.
That's a great question, and the trends are changing, definitely. The first thing that comes to mind when you say that is Sheryl Sandberg, and she's been promoting, women changing the look of the workplace, and she's been promoting being married. So the whole idea that you had to kind of put your love life aside to get ahead is sort of being flipped on its head for young professionals. And they're looking at Sheryl Sandberg, who's married, who has children, and women nowadays, they really do want the whole package. So for a bustling city, for cities that are trying to promote young professionals, nobody is as anxious to put their career before their love life anymore. So they really want to kind of do both, and they're putting as much effort now into finding a partner, whereas before they were, like Oprah, and they just wanted to be a boss and to have their, own network. But now Sheryl Sandberg is really making the case for, you do need a strong partner, and you need a husband, and you need to balance both husband and career. So that's definitely a trend that's changing.
Absolutely. And I think, too, what's really interesting about that is that it's changing the view of professional women out there, in the sense of, like, we can have it all. There's so much controversy around that topic. Can you really have it all? Can you have a relationship? Can you have a solid career? Can you have all this around you and not let it affect you, like, moving forward in life? And I have to say that I think you do. You can have it all. But it's not really, for me, it's not about balance. I share the view that it's really about, when you talk about the things that are important and you have a great and clear understanding and no expectations, then you can really be able to be in a relationship where everything kind of balance just happens. It's not forced,
Right. No, absolutely. I agree. And so for everybody that says they're too busy, you can't jump from single to relationship. You got to make time somewhere in between. It's all going to take you time. So you got to stop being too busy and definitely, make time for what's important.
Absolutely. So tell me, with some of the clients that you've worked with, I know you've focused on being able to help them get moving in that direction. So tell me a little bit about what kind of tips and steps, and maybe some of our viewers who may not be in the dating space right now, or are busy professionals, or not ready, or they kind of don't know how to get their feet wet. What would you recommend?
Well, I always recommend, one, being your best self. A lot of people feel like they can get dressed up for work, or they can get dressed up for an occasion, but if they're just running errands, or if it's a Saturday, they don't want to put any effort to themselves at all. And I tell people, you can meet somebody anywhere. Everywhere you go is an opportunity to meet someone. So don't just feel confident when you're all pulled together, or you have your suit on and you're going to work. Put that same effort every day, because that's who you are. People think, oh, I'm just a salesman, so I should only dress up when I'm going to work. No, you're always selling. You're always presenting yourself. So just put that effort into yourself first all the time.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I forgot to mention this. So before, let me just say this. Everyone who's watching, we have some viewers that are watching from actually Google. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and just type it in the chat box, and myself and Ms. Solomon will be able to see it and answer your questions as they come. You can also send your questions to support@michelleg.com. If you're on Facebook, please post them on the comments, and we'll go ahead and have Team MG over here forward the questions on, so we can answer your burning dating and relationship questions. So that was such a phenomenal way to really put it about, and especially on Saturdays. I am sometimes guilty of this. I get up in the morning and I do have to run errands, and I'm like, I'm going to throw on jeans or shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops. So I live in San Diego, so I don't have to put on boots and all this other stuff, or I could throw on a sundress, which is great. But I will say, I have to constantly remind myself, like, no, why would I just go out there like this? Like, I don't know who I'm going to meet. And I'm married, but I'm saying, like, I still don't know who I'm going to meet. You never know who you're going to come in contact with. I've made some amazing business connections while I have been at Starbucks, or actually at different conferences, or sometimes even at, like, the grocery store, just talking to someone about a vegetable, and we get into conversation. So it's really important to always show up as your best self. Tell me about something. A lot of people talk about this whole best self thing, and it's been a little bit of something where people are like, all right, I'm kind of tired of hearing it. How do you become your best self? Everyone's saying it, but how do you really do it? So what do you say to that, Miss Solomon?
That's a great question. Oh my God, that's such a good question. And to me, I think the best way to work on yourself is to treat yourself the way you want to be treated. We all have a lot of negative talk sometimes, and same with getting dressed. You're getting dressed for somebody else. Get dressed for yourself. I know that there were times when I would date people, and you're just having a movie night, and I would get dressed up, and my date would come over like, "Wait, are we going somewhere?" I'm like, "No, you're a guest in my home. You're a guest in my home. We're sharing time, and I'm dressing because this is who I am. This is how I like to dress." So I think in being your best self, it kind of means just be yourself 24/7. If you want to feel good and look good and promote positivity, just say positive things. Change your negative talk and that wheel that we have in our head playing, those negative phrases. I think it just starts doing the little things when no one else is around, and then you can do it all the time. And so that's what's helped me.
Great. So tell me, we're going to talk about dating games, and I've had some of my viewers who said to me, there's all these rules, so you have the rule of if you go out on a date and he doesn't call you right away, you give him some time and then maybe reach out to him, or you have the other group of friends that give you advice as far as like, no, just call him. It doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine. What do you say to all that? I mean, what's the deal with the dating game, okay?
Oh my God. I can be controversial sometimes, but I will
Go for it, girl.
Dating rules are kind of like stereotypes. They stay around because there's some truth to them. So somewhere along the line they did work. I don't recommend that people go overboard with them, but we can't always trust our behavior. So you might be so anxious, you have a great date, you can't wait to call them as soon as you get home. Some people need that 2 or 3 day window just to relax and chill out and to calm down after a great date. So I can't say it's the same for everyone, but if you're, really excited, you get their voicemail, next thing you know, they have a 5-minute message from you saying how great the date was, then you might need that rule where, okay, wait for him to call you. So I think the rules help us to keep our behaviors in line. When our adrenaline's going, we've had a really exciting date, and we like somebody so much, I think the rules can calm us down a little bit. But I don't think you should be so committed to them that you forget to be yourself or act natural.
I agree. And you know what? It's really interesting that you said that some rules we do need them to tailor our behavior. But I'm gonna say, I just remember that like back when I was dating, and I mean I was dating back in the 2000s, early 2000s. I know, like, okay, I'm not like super old, but it's kind of funny because I remember when I first started dating, and I told my mom about dating. And my mom's an immigrant, and so my mom comes with all these customs and all these rules about really saying, okay, Michelle, you should expect that he's going to pay for dinner, and you should expect that he's going to open the door for you, and you're going to expect this. And so I had all these things until there's my visitor, by the way, it's my cat. He had all these rules, and then when I went into the dating space, and for me it was just a little bit like, do I call? Do I not call? What do I do? And then it was like, wait, am I over calling? But when I became really clear with myself and what I wanted out of my relationships or what I was looking for, then I really felt like the rules didn't matter. Like I could just throw them out the windows because I went with what really felt good for me, and what I started to being more in tune with the person that I may have gone out on a date with. I wouldn't be over needy.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I agree. No, I agree. It does depend on being in tune with you, because if you are so worried and concerned about the other person, then you are skeptical. You think, oh, that wasn't the right text to send, or no, I didn't say the right thing, or oh, I didn't wear the right thing. And you start to second guess yourself. But once you're comfortable with who you are and what you want, and you know yourself, then you don't worry about it. I say all kinds of crazy things. Trust me. I tell people, I'm like, you couldn't have said or done anything crazier than I've ever done. And if somebody likes you, they really will like you, but you have to be confident in it. You can't always second guess yourself. I think the rules, if you believe that they work and you do them, then that's some confidence that at least you can put into the process if you're not totally confident in yourself. So in that case, it can be helpful. But like you said, when you are in tune with who you are, the rules, they don't matter. They don't change how someone feels about you.
All right, so I'm going to say, you've heard the term. We hear it in business. We hear it in life. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You know, this whole fake it till you make it with the whole confidence thing. I mean, it's like, come on. I mean, I guess I'd love to get your perspective on what you think about that, because sometimes I think it's like, yeah, you know, it kind of is it helps you, it boosts you, but then at the same time, it's like, then you're always constantly faking it. So what do you think?
You know, you do hear it all the time. You're right. I don't 100% agree with that. I think it's impossible, to be honest. I think you can only do as much as you're capable of doing at the time. So you can only be as happy as you can be. You can't fake that happiness. Nobody is going to take you seriously. They're going to see through it. Or the right person is going to see through it. And then when that happens, whoa, the breakdown. If the right person gets away, if the right person catches you faking, if the right person, you know, goes through your fingers because you weren't genuine, then you're like devastated. So I don't really think that there is a way to fake it. I think you have to just do the best you can do at the time. But if you are faking it and you miss that opportunity in dating, it's like you go down to square one. You feel like, you know, how could you do that? And so I don't think the faking works. It gets you to a point, but if something devastating or something really serious does happen, I think the true way that you feel or the true position you're in actually comes out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. I really like that. I was curious to get your perspective on it. I think everything is just kind of, you got to feel things out. You really do, because, you know, if you don't feel things out, then you're really not going to be able to have your own perspective. And that's, I think, my thing with the whole dating rules and the whole dating scene is that, and I wrote this on a blog last week, I really wanted to touch on the fact that it's, you know, we have friends in our circle of friends, and you have your circle of friends, and we talk to them after we date, or if we have a marital problem or something. Like, we have that group, that support network, or the circle of trust, as they say in the in the Meet the Fockers. But the thing with that is that sometimes we forget that we have to be able to take the information that's given to us and the advice and filter it through our lens, and not allow other people to put their beliefs and their experiences onto us.
Right. I agree.
I want to go ahead and say, you know, I have a couple of questions that are coming in, so I want to go ahead and answer this one first. I have someone who is here that says, this moment is your life. That is, for all the callers or anyone who emails me, I always ask them to give me a pseudonym. I never like to use a real name. And, you know, what do you have to say about, you know, you're overweight. You haven't dated in a long time, and you're always saying, okay, when I lose weight, I'm going to go out and date, or I'm busy. I'm afraid to go out and date because if I meet someone that's really great and I get in touch with them, then the next step logically is intimacy. I don't feel comfortable taking my clothes off with that. What do you say to barriers like that? If a client comes to you and says, well, I really want to date, you know, but I'm overweight and I'm working on it, but I want to date, but I don't want to get into the intimate part. Like, how do you deal with that?
Professionally, I would say you have to put the focus on the other person as much as you can. Don't worry about what they're thinking about you. If you have something to offer, offer it. Be supportive, be a friend, you know, go out and date them, have a great time with them. If they come to you and they say, you know, I really like you, I want things to go further, then you can explain to them, you know, these are my issues and I have a little bit of trouble, you know, with X, Y, and Z. The problem I find is if you want to date, but you also want to be guarded. You want to go out, but you also don't want anybody to look at you or touch you, or so you have to do one or the other. You have to either shift the focus completely on the other person, give to them, care for them, be a friend, and then when they ask you, you know, can I return that to you? Can I be closer to you? Then you can say, yeah, but these are my issues, and this is what I have going on. I think people sometimes they put their issues on other people, and they say, oh, well, they won't like me because of this or that. But you know what? Just offer. Just say, you know, I know I'm a good person. I'm a good friend. I'm a good person to go to the movies with. Just offer your company first, and then let them, in return, be a good friend to you.
That's great advice, you know, and I don't think there's been an occasion. I don't know. I'd have to do some research, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. I don't think there's been an occasion where a man has told a woman, put your clothes on. I just can't. You know, I think it's really about, yes, intimacy is so important when you take that next step, but I really think it's about the person and who you are, like we've been saying this whole time, and we can't say it and stress it enough because it's really about who you are as a person, what you have to offer. I have someone else. I have Miss Making It Happen, or Mr. Making It Happen. Shouts out to you. And the question, Miss Solomon, is, as a 22-year-old, I feel like most guys my age aren't as serious as I am. Any advice for dating while in college?
Of course, date everybody, as many people as you can. No, my advice is this, and again, it's not for everybody, and I tend to be controversial, but I enjoyed dating when I was younger. Not that I'm not young now, but when I was in my 20s, I enjoyed dating, and I dated a lot of people, and I did it as a way to engage in activities I liked. If I wanted to go to a museum, a movie, I couldn't find that all in one person. So I became the woman that if somebody felt they were young, professional, kind of good looking, they wanted to ask me out, and I went. So in college, when you're young, I think it's a great time to experience the buffet of dating. You know, you're on a lower budget, you don't have that Ruth Chris budget yet for that one steak. So just like the cafeteria, just go and have a little bit of everything, try it, enjoy the buffet. That's what you're there for. And then as you get older, you can refine your taste and start thinking about what's really important and what you really want out of your love life.
Absolutely. I mean, you learn a lot. I mean, when I was in my 20s too, I dated. I mean, I dated, and I had a really great time dating. And here's the thing. We're not saying go date and be promiscuous. I mean, that's obviously your own choosing. But I dated. I went out. I met some amazing guys, and some have become just really great friends, and some it just didn't work out. And it's like, okay, it didn't work out, but there was always lessons in that. And I totally agree. Go out, date. Don't. You know, there's a saying that says, you know, women who get married in their 20s, they don't really figure out what they want until they're in their 30s.
Right.
I am a testament to that. I got married in my 20s, and my ex-husband, he was a great guy. We had different wants and needs, and we had different directions we were going. And I thought it was really interesting that when I was going through my divorce, that was one of the things that my mom had said to me. She's like, I mean, you did what you did. She's like, but, you know, you really don't know what you want until you discover more of who you are. And it stuck with me. And when I got married again and I met my current husband, I remember I was like, you know what, it's true. I do know what I want. And I'm sure in my 40s it'll change, but I know what I want in a relationship.
Right.
We have another question here from Young, Hot, and Single. Hey, Young, Hot, and Single. All right, where are the best places to meet professional men who would be ideal husband material?
I love that question. I love that question, and I hate that question. The best place to meet anyone is outside of your door. Now, I did have a doctor knock on my door once. I was visiting my parents, and he bought a business next door, and he knocked on the door with scrubs, single doctor. But outside of that experience, I have never found a good quote-unquote place to meet men or women other than just out at the grocery store, at the gas station. The problem is you have to look attractive. Not to say you have to be hot in heels. You can wear whatever makes you feel good, but you have to catch their eye, because that's what attractive people do. They're always looking. Even when they're taken, they're looking. And so you have to catch their eye, and when you do that, you'll meet them.
So what's your view about working, dating in the workplace?
I would say, it depends where you work. I've never done it, so I can't really have a true experience on it. For some people, it works. For some people, it doesn't work. I think it's one of those, like we talked about the rules. You have to sort of filter out what works for you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we are almost at our time, and I just want to tell you thank you so much, Miss Solomon. And I know you're a blogger, you're an author, I know you're a dating expert. What is it that you have to offer to any of our dating professionals, single dating professionals or seeking to date? What do you have to offer, and where can they learn more about you?
Well, thank you, Michelle, for having me. This was so much fun. I can't thank you enough. You have a great audience. They can find out more about me at thedatingtruth.com. They can also get coaching, and I'm doing, just surprise little workshops and pop-ups like this one just to get connected with people. So what they can learn from me is connection. If they're looking to meet more people in those arbitrary places, like I mentioned, the gas station, the grocery store, that's really what I teach, how to bring people to you. So they can learn about it at thedatingtruth.com.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen who are watching out there. Thank you for joining us on a happy Tuesday. I hope your St. Patty's was good. If not, continue celebrating. Why not? And make sure you have the opportunity to sign up and check out thedatingtruth.com. Also, you can follow her on Twitter. Her and I are always tweeting. And your Twitter handle is at The Dating
Truth?
Okay, at The Dating Truth. So make sure that you tune in and stay connected with all of us. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you once again, Ms. Solomon. And to all of you out there, have a great Tuesday. If you have any other questions or you want to connect with me at support@michelleg.com, or my Twitter handle is at MichelleGFans. And I look forward to connecting with you. And remember, every day is a new day to reignite your relationship, but it always starts with you. Take care, everyone. Bye.